Well, hi there. Before we get started, I want to be clear that smoking almost certainly does increase your chances of getting many forms of cancer. However, for years, the tobacco industry was able to successfully argue that we don't have evidence that it does. And they were right. They were able to get many scientists and statisticians to defend their claims, and for decades, they were able to make this claim. There was a strong correlation between people that smoked and increased rates of cancer, but correlation does not mean causation. It could be that people that are prone to certain forms of cancer are also more inclined to smoke. There are a whole host of possible explanations for why we see a correlation between smoking and cancer. That the smoking causes the cancer is only one of those possibilities. And the reality is that it would be unethical to perform the sorts of experiments that would be required to demonstrate conclusively this link. But if we disregarded ethics, such an experiment could be devised. There are two essential steps in this experiment that would require random selection. First, we would need to select people randomly from the population about which we want to draw conclusions. Conclusions based upon evidence and reason are called inferences. So, for example, if I randomly selected people from Kentucky, then I can make inferences about people from Kentucky generally. That said, I cannot make inferences about people from Indiana or the United States or anywhere but Kentucky. If I wanted to make inferences about people from all over the world, I would need to randomly select people from all over the world. If my sample is not random, then I can only make inferences about my sample. It could be that people that I select or that self-select for my study are not representative of the greater population. So, step one, I need to randomly select people from the population about which I wish to make inferences. And then comes step two. This is the most important step. Of the people that I selected for my study, I need to randomly select people to smoke and not to smoke. If I don't randomly assign people to smoke and not to smoke, then the tobacco industry's defense still remains. I might have a correlation between smoking and cancer, but it could easily be that the people that are prone to cancer also choose to smoke. I can't give them that option. I need to let random chance decide. Because it could also be that whoever is making the assignments, for whatever reason, chooses to assign people that are more prone to cancer to the smoking treatment. We need to use a randomized procedure like a coin flip or pulling names out of a hat to make the determination. It is only in the case that individuals were assigned to treatments randomly that I can make inferences about causation. If I don't assign them randomly to treatments, then all I have is correlation. And this is where the tobacco industry got off for so long, because it was unethical to assign people to smoke when we strongly suspected that it would dramatically elevate their risk for cancer. But even if we could get past this ethical issue, randomly select humans from the global population to include in the study so we could make inferences about humans generally, and randomly assign which people smoke and which ones do not so that you can determine causation and not simply correlation, there are still two more places where your experiment could fail to yield the evidence needed to make your case. First, you need to have as large of a sample as possible. When you conduct an experiment, the larger the population is, the less likely it will be that your results will be biased by random chance. If you do this study on only 2 people randomly selected from the general population, the odds are pretty good that one of them is more prone to cancer than the other. But if you use, say, 100,000 people, it is far less likely that the half of them assigned to one of the groups are more prone to cancer than the half assigned to the other. And second, you're going to need a placebo. You've probably heard this word before. Placebo is very important in studies like this because thinking that you're in one treatment or the other can have a dramatic impact on your actual performance. For example, in studies on the impact of vitamin C on the immune system, people were randomly selected to receive either vitamin C pills or sugar pills, which were the placebo. But what they quickly discovered was that people know what a vitamin C pill tastes like. They're sour and citrusy. People knew which treatment they were in, so the researchers had to do the study over again with flavored sugar pills. In the end, the people with the flavored sugar pills showed a stronger immune response than people with unflavored sugar pills. Just thinking that they were receiving vitamin C mattered. It could be that thinking that you are smoking increases your chances of getting cancer. So to determine if it is the smoking that causes the cancer, we would need to have a harmless placebo version of smoking that would be assigned to the non-smoking group without their knowledge. So if we had a random sample of the people from Earth, then we could make inferences about the people of Earth. And if people were randomly assigned to smoke or not smoke, and non-smokers were given a placebo that convinced them that they were smoking, then, if our sample is large enough, we might be able to demonstrate that the smoking of tobacco causes an increased risk of cancer in humans generally. If we don't use the placebo, but randomly assign people to smoke or not smoke, then we could conclude that something about the act of smoking tobacco causes an increased risk of cancer. But if we can't gain a truly random sample of all of humanity, then we cannot make inferences about all of humanity. If we cannot randomly assign people to smoke, then we cannot conclude that smoking really causes cancer. All we really have is a really strong correlation. But sometimes that is all that you ethically can have. And now you know. If you learned something today, please like this video. If you'd like to learn more in the future, please subscribe and click the little bell. And we hope to see you real soon. Made it!